name is through it in your day with
Anything could happen. Anything could happen. Anything could happen. Anything could. Oh my God!
Hello and welcome. We're very happy to see you all here today, all the students and families here to learn more about what student life is like at Duke. We're thrilled to have so many of you here, and in addition to our presenters, we do have a team of folks in the background helping to answer any of your questions, so please use the Q&A box for all questions during this event. So I'm going to start by introducing our panelists today. Mary Pat McMahon is the Vice Provost and Vice President of Student Affairs. As the Chief Student Affairs Officer at Duke, she's directly involved in decisions that shape your experience here as a student, including residential and dining services, student wellness services, specialized services for parents and families and student veterans, also any other student-directed services such as extracurricular support, and the Identity and Cultural Centers. So she's committed to student development, team leadership, strong community, and academic and student partnerships. Christoph Gutentag is our Dean of Undergraduate Admissions, and he's serving in his 33rd year here at Duke. During his tenure, applications have reached record levels multiple times. The admissions rate has dropped to under 5%. The presence of international students has increased to over 10% of the class. And the percentage of first-year students receiving Pell Grants has increased to 23%. And the percentage of students of color has increased to over 50%. He's been an active participant in regional and national organizations of admissions professionals, currently a trustee of the College Board, quoted in the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, and other prominent publications. So I'm going to turn it over to them, but I want to remind everybody, please, if you have any questions, to use the Q&A feature, and we will get started. Christoph, would you like to start?
Thank you. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate it. And welcome to everyone, and congratulations to everyone. It's great. Well, I can't see you, but I can imagine you, and I know that we will be welcoming you onto campus later in April. So I'm actually, I want to just say a couple of things before I turn it over to Mary Pat, who is, of course, much more important to you all now than I am. I had an introduction ready for her, but Kevin, thank you for taking care of that. Let me say a couple of things, and to repeat something that I think a lot of people have already said to you, and that is congratulations, well done. I know, my staff knows, everybody who read your applications, everybody in my office who was part of the conversation about creating the class of 2029. We know how hard you worked. We know how much you had to juggle all of your various commitments, academic and otherwise, all of your responsibilities. And we know that, this point of transition, this moment of applying to colleges, especially if you're applying somewhere early decision and it's your clear first choice, there's some stress involved with that. And we understand it, we appreciate it, and we appreciate your managing the process. I will say that opportunities like this, where you are in one environment, but the next step, the next environment you're going to be is clear, but you're not there yet. Those sort of situations are fairly rare, and it's nice to be able to enjoy the fact that your next step is clear. It's known to you. Obviously, there are lots of unknowns. But it's a nice position to be in, and it makes sense to enjoy that moment. And I think it's appropriate to enjoy that moment. It's also appropriate to understand you're coming into an environment where expectations will be different. Expectations will, in some ways, you will have more flexibility, you'll have more responsibility, and the academic expectations will be significant. So I'll just say, as tempting as it may be to relax this last semester, and we all understand it, a word of advice to keep on moving forward. Don't relax too much. Take advantage of the fact that you still have some significant learning to do, and that you want to prepare yourself for the educational experience that you are going to find here. The opportunities, the academic opportunities that you will find here are just exceptional. And you will have choices that you can't imagine, and you want to be ready to take advantage of those choices, of those opportunities. And so doing well this last semester, I think, is an important part of that. Well, that's the first thing I want to say. The second thing briefly is many of your classmates are still waiting on decisions and still waiting to know where they're going to be attending college next fall. So be nice to them, be sympathetic to them, and support them, because they are your classmates, they are your colleagues, they are your friends. And not all of them are in the position that you're in, and it's good to support them. Supporting each other is part of the culture here, and it's part of the reason why we thought you'd be an appropriate match, because you are inclined that way. The third thing, I've only got two more things to say. The third thing is, there are people that helped you along the way, and it could be your parents, obviously, it could be teachers, a teacher, it could be somebody from a long time ago who inspired you, or recently who inspired you, pointed you in a particular direction. Now is a great time to thank them. Now is a great time to show your appreciation for what they did for you to put you in this position. I think that you have the time, you have the opportunity. Think about somebody who made a difference for you in this journey of yours, and reach out to them. It could be a note, it could be a phone call, if you use the phone for that. Could be a text, could be an email. Handwritten letters are always appreciated by adults. Thank them, express your gratitude, and stay in touch with them. But very, very, very few people get to where you are all by themselves, and it's always good. It's always good to show your appreciation and your gratitude. And now is a good time. Now is a good time to do that. If you have any suggestions for how the application process could have been done better, anything that we might have done differently, any suggestions that you have, essay questions maybe that you wish we had asked, or instructions that we might have written differently, or anything that you think might have been improved that we could do differently, drop me a note, send me an email. My email address is christoph.gutentag@duke.edu. The typical email protocol at Duke, which is first name dot last name @duke.edu. And you could certainly know my name and know how to spell it, because it's at the bottom of your offer of admission. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague and my friend, and just a person who not only is responsible for making the student experience at Duke as good and as rewarding and as interesting as it is, but whose staff just does a great job of being connected to students, to listening to them, supporting them, guiding them. To the parents in particular, I would say your children are in very good hands. And that is led by Mary Pat McMahon, Vice President, Vice Provost for Student Affairs. And Mary Pat, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Great. Thank you, Christoph. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Duke. Welcome to the Blue Devil family. Welcome to the next 4 or so years of your lives, when you're going to be with people talented, excited, joyful, totally different than you in so many ways, and then also so similar to you in your quest for being a part of something bigger than yourself and being all that you can learn and stretch and grow in the college experience. So it's so exciting to have you all in the class of 2029. I'll walk you through a couple of things right now and get to some questions. One is my advice to build on Christoph's advice, mark the moment. You have gotten in, you've done it, you've worked incredibly hard for years to have that moment where you open that letter at the end in December and through the holidays and through the start of this new year. Believe it, believe that you absolutely belong at Duke, that your investment in your own personal growth, your family and your teachers and your friends' investment in you as a learner and a human and a leader are something the admissions office saw for a real reason. It feels random. It feels, how could you know? I know that in high school, everybody's looking at all of the outcomes or non-outcomes right now. You did the work, literally, to get yourself into Duke and to get yourself set up for this next experience. And it's going to be transformational. It's transformational for you. It's transformational for your family. I'm going to walk through a couple of details in a second, and I'll give you my version of the advice for high school, and then we'll open up to questions. All right, so what do you do now? I'm going to echo Christoph and say it'd be good if you could finish high school, get your grades done, finish. My bigger advice to you is also relax. You need to relax. You didn't get into Duke relaxing. You need to have a minute to do the courses you want to do, write the papers you want to write. Finish strong, yes, but know that you have worked really hard and it's time for you to sort of go interior, reflect, connect, talk to your people, spend a little extra time over the dessert bar or sitting with your friends like in the bleachers one night. Like, do the things that are going to make you feel reflective, whole, rooted and grounded, because you've worked really hard. You're going to work hard again when you get to Duke, I promise. And you'll be working hard in an environment that is incredibly supportive of you. I echo Christoph, thank your people. Thank the people that helped you get here. Remember them. Remember how much this is a team effort to get you in this seat. Show your kindness to your friends, just as Christoph said. You know plenty of people that don't have their fates quite as defined just now, and they need you to be that good human that you are. And again, believe it. Believe that this is really going to happen. It's going to be really great. My summer advice for you, you graduate, work on graduating. You know, I always talk to people who have some kind of role at graduation, or they've got a million different things they have to figure out before they finish up their senior year. Focus on being there. You'll start hearing from the new Student and Family Programs Office in May. They'll let you know through the transition book, which is sort of collectively known as the Blue Book. Lots of information coming. We do need you to be connected this summer. If you have any trouble being connected, you got plans or connectivity or anything that might be a challenge for that, new Students and Family Programs Office can help make sure you get what you need for information so that you're figuring out housing forms, registration, health forms, connecting with your advisor. You meet with your advisor in the summertime. You register for classes in August after you talk to your advisor virtually. A few different things will happen over the summer. We set it up that way so that experiential orientation happens as an immersive project-based experience for all 1,760 or however many members of class 29 we're going to have. And by that, the immersive orientation, EXO, experiential orientation. Last year we had 22 programs, some of which had 200, 300 people in them, some of which had 20 people in them, all of which are student-led. The idea behind experiential orientation is the biggest thing we can do for you is help you form a cohort of supportive, thoughtful, like-minded students in a program or experience that first week at Duke where you work on something together. You could be working on Habitat for Humanity. You could be doing outdoor trek experience with Project Wild or Project Waves. You could be doing a Shark Tank innovation entrepreneurial experience. You could be doing Project Play with athletics, something. But spending time on a shared project is our main goal for EXO. It's been a game changer for Duke. You'll be the fourth class to have done it. And by game changer, I mean our students walk into classes the first week feeling like they belong at Duke, feeling like they know where to ask their questions, feeling like they're ready to learn and ready to grow. And our numbers on that compared to anybody else in the country, it's probably, most places about half the students feel that way. At Duke, we have about 95, 96% of the incoming class saying, yeah, no, I'm ready. It's time. We got this. And our goal is to get you between now and then into that space of confidence, knowing people, knowing that we're all going to fail, we're all going to have challenges, we're all going to have moments where we're not sure what we're doing, and that the supportive community at Duke and the ways to go find people that have been through what you've been through, that's how we get you to a place of success. Not because you're on it on your own, but because you're in a really supportive, really dynamic community that sees you and cares about you and knows who you're going to be, right? Let yourself believe it. Spend some time with high school. Get ready for EXO. Get ready for your first couple weeks of classes at Duke. You'll have plenty coming down the pike, and I'm happy to talk about whatever. But my main message for you is we got you. We're ready for you. We spend all year getting ready for that August 16th drop-off day and that August 17th orientation start. And that first day class is the following Monday. So Kevin, Christoph, I'm happy to take it to questions from here. Welcome, everybody. Can't wait to talk.
Sure. So, Mary Pat, would you please expand a little bit on orientation and Blue Book and what that looks like and how it can help? Sometimes students are concerned, how am I going to find my place? They might have heard that they have a random roommate. So, can you expand a little bit on orientation and Blue Book?
Sure. So Blue Book is a virtual experience, and it's kind of fancy and kind of swishy. There's a lot of high content visual. You can see this guy, Isaiah, who graduated last year, walking around with his backpack. He's kind of the visual as you walk in all the different pages. There's things you're going to need to complete. There's online questionnaires. There's material you need to cover and review. But that will all come to you. You'll have a chance. You'll get assigned to your Duke email address. It'll start using the one that you used for your admissions application and transition you over. So watch your email, pay attention to that sort of link. If families and parents are listening, it doesn't come to you, it goes to your student. Your student's got to be the one who starts jumping in and answering all those questions and filling out all those forms, because it's the student's experience. The roommate stuff, we assign roommates. It's not random in the sense that it's not like we're just going to throw everybody in the pool together. We use the housing form to assign students to their roommates. Not every campus does this. Some places will say, I want to live with this person. We knew each other from summer camp. I want to live with this person. We're both going to be on the XYZ team. There's a lot of data that supports students have a better experience over their first year and their 4 years and their lifetime if they are assigned to a roommate by the school. It's not random, so it says random, but it's actually based on what you say about your sleeping habits, your neatness, your when you stay up late, do you get up early? That algorithm works better than Instagram or Snapchat meetings and sort of suggested ideas about who you might live with. It's also different than who you're friends with. Who you live with well is different than who you're going to be a good first year roommate with. We do have some singles on East Campus. All the first year class lives on East Campus. It used to be a racetrack. I learned that in watching the 100 Years of Duke documentary that's premiering all over the world right now, that the East Campus original sort of architecture is built on a horse racetrack from the 1800s. But we have about 1,800 students, first years, living on East Campus. That experience is super supportive. You'll have a faculty in residence, RAs, residential coordinators that live right in your building. You're going to know your housekeepers. You're going to know the marketplace staff. Marketplace is in the Wall Center for Campus Life. East is referred to by a lot of students as a big hug. Again, people are coming in from 50 states, dozens and dozens of countries, all different backgrounds, and that first year experience is about everybody feeling like this place is for you. So you match with your roommate, you live on a hall, you start your classes that Monday after orientation starts. That first week is not meant to be stressful. It's meant to be a lot of contact, a lot of people, a lot of getting acquaintance. It's a process. I've been working in student life for about 25 years now. And I've been part of many formal orientation programs where we cover a lot of material, and people like to think, oh yeah, we talked to the whole first year class about X, Y, or Z, and we sort of shared this policy or that policy. We do cover policies, and we'll get you that information this summer. We'll repeat it when you start. But we also know, based on learning outcomes and how hands-on learning makes a big difference, that what you'll remember the most is, how do I talk to someone when I have a question? How do I get the basics? How do I understand that I belong here? And how do I start having substantive, real conversations with other people, right? There's a challenge around the country of, you bring all these people together, you start orientation, you start the process, and left to their own devices, if you're in that high school, I got in mentality, you're going to ask, where else did you apply? What'd you get on this test? Like very sort of how we think about our common experience of the process of getting in. We want your common experience to be, how are we going to pitch this idea? What's our plan for, going 2-on-1 with Cooper Flag, which people did this year, which was pretty fun, right? So we're working on making sure that experience is about you getting comfortable with the place more than anything else. It feels a little squishy talking about it in January. By the time it comes in August, it'll make a lot of sense.
Hey, Kevin,
So
can
this
I
is
jump
a-
in for a
sorry,
second?
Chris.
Because I know that there was a question about focus, and I wanted to, what Mary Pat was saying fits into this really, really well. And I wanted to take the opportunity to talk a little bit about that. A lot of students, some students already know about the focus program and the opportunities that it provides. But I want to make sure that people understand it's a great avenue to make the intellectual transition from the academic transition, but really the intellectual transition from being a high school student to being a college student. Because I mean, being a high school student to a large degree, not entirely and not for everyone, but to a large degree, it's a matter of fulfilling requirements. It's a matter of figuring out what's expected, doing the work, doing it well, maybe doing it exceptionally well, really problem solving what's expected and what the right answers are. It tends to be a very assessment oriented culture. And coming to college, especially coming to a place like Duke, where frankly, the faculty have the luxury of high expectations for the students. You're prepared, you're really well prepared, but the opportunity to think creatively, to see the connections between disparate disciplines, to see how things fit together, to take a critical approach to things, to question, to wonder, to struggle, to think, and to do that in the company of other really bright, engaged, diverse, talented students who are there for different reasons on the surface, but are all there for the same reason, which is to get, to get an exceptional education and to have an exceptional growth experience. Focus really gives that to you right from the beginning in the first semester. Interesting topics, seminar courses taught by some of the most senior, most distinguished, some of the most interesting faculty we've got. And it gives you the opportunity right in the first semester to have really 2.5 courses just focused not just on a single subject and often generally a complex subject, and to approach it from different perspectives. If I had the opportunity to go to Duke and to participate in a program like this, which really jumpstarts your intellectual development as a college student, as somebody developing a whole new set of skills that you're incredibly well prepared for, can't recommend it enough. You apply to the Focus program, you will have the opportunity to do that later in the spring. We want to give all of the students who indicate that they're going to be enrolling at Duke the same opportunity to participate in Focus. So there's nothing to do now other than go to the Focus program website, focus.duke.edu, check out the opportunities, learn about the programs. But what Mary Pat was saying about your growth, about your development as a person, as a member of a community, as a member of a larger community and a smaller community, all of that is reflected in many ways in the Focus program. And I want to pitch that to you. There are a significant number of students who see Focus as one of the highlights of their academic time at Duke. It can be absolutely transformational, and we recommend it. So thanks for letting me jump in on that.
Thank you for jumping in. Mary Pat, we got a question about Quad X. It's kind of an interesting, unique term, and it's something that we do a little bit differently. I wonder if you could elaborate a little bit on how Quad X impacts their first year experience.
Great. Thanks, Kevin. So QuadX is the sort of operating system for how living and learning at Duke works. And by that, I mean, when you get your housing assignment this summer, you'll find out that you live in Trinity Dorm. And if you live in Trinity Dorm on East Campus, that means you're a member of Eden's Quad. And you, as a sophomore, will live in Eden's Quad. And if you want, as a junior, you can also live in Eden's Quad, and you'll be affiliated with Eden's Quad from the beginning of your first year through your time at Duke. If you're in a focus program, as Christoph says, let's say you're in Blackwell and you're in a focus program, you're in the American Experience Focus Program with Jenny Wood Crowley, a faculty member, and I can't remember who the faculty member who does the English part of the American Experience. But you're in Blackwell. That means that you go over to Cohan Quad as a sophomore, and you'll be part of the Cohan community as a first year. They'll have barbecues, they'll host you, they'll bring you over, they'll be connected to the East Campus Council. There are day parties and tailgates for the football games, and Cohan Quad or Kilgo Quad will have a time in the Devil's Deck at the fall football games. The idea being everybody has a clear community and known destination as part of their first year experience, and then as part of their upper class experience while they're at Duke. QuadX is also kind of programmatic around different points in time over your 4 years when something would be really helpful and valuable to you developmentally. So in first year, that's EXO, right? And then in the spring of your freshman year, first year, it's Bricks to Stone, which is this moment where you go from your East Campus experience over to your sophomore housing. They host a huge welcome party for you. There's a contest between the quads to see who can have the best welcome party for their first years. Last Friday night, QuadX was Night Under the Lights, and Night Under the Lights is put together by athletics and by the quads, and it's a walkathon that's a really fun, freezing cold Friday, the first Friday night of the semester. We had 600 people out there this Friday night as part of QuadX. Again, it's all part of the Quad Cup and Quad competition. So QuadX is like the operating system that connects you to where you're going to live. It also connects you to your advisor. So the focus faculty are all connected to quads. And starting with the class of 28, everybody's pre-major advisor across the residence halls on East is connected to their quad. So Cohan advisors all sit together at advisor training. They might know one another. And if you start thinking you're going to do more about film studies and visual arts, but you started as neuropsych, the Cohan advisors can work together to make sure that you get connected to where you need to go. So it really is the kind of the backdrop that pulls everything together socially, but also programmatically, living and learning wise, and then again, developmentally over your 4 years. It's pretty fun. We have sweet crests. The students designed crests 2 years ago. They're actually up on links this right now as we speak in January. By the time you get here for August and move in, there'll be crests on the sort of different parts of the Gothics over on West. And there's pretty sweet like merch, t-shirts, sweatshirts, water bottles, pizza parties, all that stuff. So it's kind of it's your home base over your 4 years. I do want to mention that QuadX also is likely to get you into Durham. Did you want me to mention that part, Kevin? The Durham part?
Sure, go ahead. Yeah, involvement with Durham.
Okay. Yeah, so EXO, experiential orientation, one of the side benefits of EXO has been the extent to which in their first week at Duke, students start getting connected to the Durham city. There's a city of Durham, and there's a county of Durham, and then there's the North Carolina region. As part of EXO, 90+% of the first year class will have some kind of meaningful experience in Durham or in North Carolina over their first 5 or 6 days. And by meaningful, I mean working with a local business, connecting at a local sort of community resource organization, being in the Blue Ridge Mountains, being out on the coast at the Marine Lab, or connecting with a Habitat for Humanity or a different sort of local affiliation group in Durham. Pauli Murray Center, for example. Pauli Murray is a major civil rights leader in the 20th century who grew up in Walltown, 7-minute walk from East Campus, right? So lots of different ways that our students are connecting to Durham as part of their introduction to being a member of the community. And since I'm talking about Durham, I will say that the Duke campus sits in the city. East Campus, where the first years live. East Campus is closer to downtown Durham, to the restaurants, to the community centers, where people do America Reads, America Counts, people do tutoring and volunteering with kids. West Campus is is less sort of walkable to other parts of Durham. Students do the campus shuttle back over east and they walk to downtown. We're working actually this year on looking at ways people can get to the campus farm and to different internship and research sites in Durham County and Durham City through ride shares. We do some of that right now. We're probably going to be better at that. Don't tell the class of 28, but we're going to be better at that by the time the class of 29 shows up. Lots of different ways to get involved in the city of Durham. It has its own history. It has its own extraordinary sort of moment right now as part of the Research Triangle Park and as part of sort of a major health system. One way to understand Duke is that we are a medium-sized university attached to a significant world-class medical center and hospital system. So the health side of things at Duke and the biotech and the research side of things at Duke drive a lot of our engagement with the state, with the city, and with sort of both the region and the country too. So lots of people get involved in research. It doesn't have to be science research, but there is incredible science research that one can do as they're getting underway at Duke too.
Absolutely. It's a very, very fast growing metro right now. So there's a lot to do and to explore. I see students around Durham all the time, just in my life. Can you, Mary Pat, can you explain how if I'm an entering student, how do I choose my major and how does academic advising work?
Great. So I am a pre-major advisor. Christoph, you must be a pre-major advisor as well, are you? You have in the past.
I have been. I'm not currently, but I have been. Yeah.
Okay.
It's great. It's
it's great. So I have a small sample set. Just given my job, I think I usually have 5 or 6 advisees per class, and then my juniors and seniors can they can quit me if they want, but they tend to not quit me. So I usually have about 20 advisees over the 4 years. Many people have more than that. Pre-major advising is just that. It's the person who sits with you and talks with you about course selection, your life adjustments, different resources that might be helpful, summer research, ways to sort of develop your plan, both, get to the classes that you want to get, make sure that you're stretching in the ways that meets the sort of curriculum requirements, and then helps you sort of challenge yourself, grow and stretch curricularly, academically, research-wise, and personally until you declare. You declare your major at Duke. You might know, listening to us right now, you're sitting at your kitchen table and you're like, yeah, I know I'm going to be like, I'm a neuroscience, I'm going to do global health, I want to study abroad in Spain, and I'm going to go to medical school at Brown University. You might have a whole plan right now. I will tell you in my experience doing this that likely there's going to be some variation and that's part of the growth and process. It'd be weird if you at 17 or 18 knew at 8:38 p.m. Eastern Standard Time what you were going to be doing 7 years from now. And part of those first year fall, first year spring, sophomore fall is you give yourself room to sort of take a class you've never taken, get connected to stuff you've never done. I don't think anybody on here has a high school that teaches cultural anthropology, visual media studies, global health, public policy, the way they teach it at Sanford School. There's lots of different things you're going to touch into and get connected to. The Durham Prison Project, the Marine Lab, oyster. I've got students doing oyster larval spit patterns, right? Like in the ways that the environment is changing that. I've got another advisee who does elephant migration and does drone work to understand how the drones are sort of mapping elephant migration in Africa right now, right? And went there for a month in October in their sophomore fall, which was incredible, right? And the paperwork was wild. But you don't know your senior year of high school, sitting at your kitchen table, wherever you are right now, sitting in your car, on your way to work, whatever you're doing, you don't know yet what all those impacts of all those experiences are going to be like. Your pre-major advisor's job, your dean's job, your faculty in residence's job is to be around and be with you in those moments of, I think I really like neuroscience. I actually think this whole discussion that we had about autocracy, I think I got a whole research paper coming out of that. I cannot stand economics, right? No, all apologies to economics. I don't like micro. I talked to people the other day who said, I just walk right out. I'm not doing it. I'm changing everything, right? That's part of the process. You think you know, it's great that you think you know a lot. You're going to know more and you're going to use that new data to help you. So your pre-major advisor, generally speaking, it's a faculty member. Sometimes it's another member of the Duke community who's trained to be an advisor. And it's also a networking thing. Like I mentioned before with the quads, my advisees come to me and they say, I've got really specific detailed questions about Let me think of like about sort of like I have several Heritage Mandarin speaker advisees, and I've been working with them and with the Chinese department to figure out how to place themselves. But they're obviously going to go to the Chinese department to figure that out. I'm not going to be able to test their Mandarin speaking like placement levels, right? So the advisor helps direct, but there's a whole phalanx of people that help you with that. When you declare a major. You have your advisor signs off on it, and then the department connects you to your major advisor. Now, I'm speaking right now about Trinity. Pratt pre-major advising is a little bit different. I don't know, Christoph may know more about the School of Engineering and the pre-major advising process, but I'm speaking about the 86% of you, whatever the percentage is, 86% of you that are in arts and sciences. The engineers have a slightly different sort of methodology there. Christoph, do you know anything more about Pratt? Because I don't.
I wish the answer to that were yes.
Yeah.
But I don't. Other than that the connection between the faculty and the students in Pratt is made very early, right away. They, because it's a smaller school, and because of the nature of it, they forge those. My sense is they forge those connections quickly. They know who the students are. They get to know them personally quickly. So I don't, to be honest, I don't know the details. My sense is that connection is strong, and they make it, and they make it. One of the nice things about the Pratt experience is the opportunity to, you're required to take some courses in Trinity College, and you have the opportunity to do a second major or minor in Trinity College if that helps you.
Kevin, I should mention one more thing. Kevin?
Sure.
Can I mention one more thing? So folks will be seeing the constellations. Trinity students will be seeing a lot of information about the new curriculum. I am excited for the class of 29 because you'll be the first class at Duke in the 21st century, I am not kidding, who will not be doing Curriculum 2000 as your sort of requirements for what you're going to take and how you're going to get across the distribution, and what you're going to do to sort of make it through your undergraduate experience. So Curriculum 2000 has been the Trinity requirements since, you guessed it, the year 2000. And the work happening right now, it's exciting. Follow it on Duke Today, follow it on the Trinity College of Arts and Sciences page. The new curriculum constellations, and the concept, if I was going to roughly say it, is that there'll be ways that ideas and courses and concepts stretch you and you learn in different disciplines about the same topic. It's going to be very, very cool. It's brand new for the class of 29. It's going to be amazing.
And
you got to figure that curriculum's good for about 25 years. So that makes sense.
25 years is a good run. Early decision students will be receiving more information about the Trinity curriculum constellations in the coming months. And then also, if we are fortunate to see you at I'm a Blue Devil Day in April, you'll hear a lot more information about it then as well. Christoph, would you be able to share some more information or stories about research opportunities here at Duke in general?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's one that I know a lot of students are interested in. I get asked that question a decent amount. I meet with prospective students, and I have many thoughts, some of which I'll share. One is, the first one, maybe it's a counterintuitive thought, is you will have a lot of opportunities during your time at Duke to participate in research. And I think sometimes some particularly successful driven students feel like it's something that they need to do or that they should do right from their first semester. And that's possible. It's possible. And students do it. Personally, I think for most students it's unnecessary, in part because there's so many opportunities, academic and otherwise, at Duke to explore doing research is a time commitment. It's an important thing to do. If you want to do it, you will have the opportunity to do it. But there's so many opportunities, academic, extracurricular, cultural, personal, that are available in college that just aren't available in high school. And I'm a big believer in taking a handful of moments, a couple of moments, a lot of moments to think about what you might want to do, what you might want to explore, and to echo what Mary Pat said, which is you have this moment to seek out opportunities that you didn't have before, just because you were in a limited environment. And it's a shame not to take advantage of those. So I know it's kind of a weird thing to say, and Kevin, I appreciate the question, which is, let's talk about research. I think it's kind of a weird thing, but I did it anyway to say, don't rush, don't feel like you've got to rush into that. That said, one of the reasons that faculty become faculty at places like Duke is because they have contributed to the world's knowledge in a meaningful way. And you do that most of the time, almost all the time, by doing research. So this is something that almost all of the faculty have done. They're good at it, and they're at Duke because they want to provide opportunities to undergraduates. There are a lot of ways to have access to research opportunities. There is an undergraduate research support office. There are academic advisors that can point you in that direction. I have spoken with any number of students who have just done the work of thinking about what are faculty doing that interests them, and just emailing them and emailing a handful of faculty to say, they've done their homework and they say, you're doing things that I think are interesting. Do you have the opportunity to have someone help, participate in research with you? One of the things I think that is terrifically important to keep in mind, we tend to fall into this habit of thinking of research as something that happens in a lab, and you wear a white coat and you wear goggles, and that's what research is. Research happens in the humanities. It happens in the social sciences. It happens in engineering. Yes, it happens in the hard sciences, but it happens in every discipline. A good friend of mine, Bill Adair, who's a professor in public policy, who's a fairly prolific writer, had current undergraduates do research on his most recent book that was published earlier this fall. And it's a great opportunity, and that's in the social sciences, right? There's a friend of mine is in the digital humanities, who works in archival research. That's research. Undergraduates help participate in that. Faculty love giving students the opportunity to dig into areas of interest to them, and keep in mind, you are to faculty, you are an opportunity, not a burden, right? You're smart, you're engaged, you're motivated, you're talented. Who wouldn't want somebody like that participating, helping, supporting them in their research? So you will find overwhelmingly a responsive group of faculty that will help you. Reach out. We will, and by we I mean the university. We will reach out to you multiple times to let you know about the opportunities that are available, how to take advantage of them, who the advisors are that you should be talking with. And then, you talk with your friends and you reach out to people. And if you want that to happen, it will. But I'll go back to my first point, which is I think it's an exciting thing to do. I think you should do it, but don't feel like you have to do it right away, right at the beginning.
So we have a question about the resources that are available for students, both kind of daily and also, if something comes up. Mary Pat, would you be able to share what those resources are specifically with the Wellness Center?
Sure. The Wellness Center is right on campus. There's sort of a main crossroads on West Campus where Penn Pavilion, the Bryant Center, the Broadhead Center, also known as the WU. We serve 27,000 meals a day out of the Bryant Center and the Broadhead Center and Marketplace. We have a lot of sort of these sort of crossroads of campus. And the Wellness Center on West is right there. We have the Oasis, which is an East Campus outbridge of the Wellness Center on East Campus. Student health, counseling and psychological services, the shortened version is CAPS. Our wellness do well, our wellness groups all work out of the Wellness Center. We have a meditation garden. We have incredible sort of chances for people to just be in community, study. We do drum circles. It's frequently in our materials, you see these sort of, is that real? Does that really happen at Duke? Kind of images of people kind of participating in wellness activities, yoga, lots of different group exercise classes. It's all happening both in the Wellness Center itself. It's happening in Wilson Rec, which is the gym on West. Brody Gym, which is the gym on East Campus. My cat is talking, so I'm sorry if everybody can hear. There's lots of different program things all across campus all day long. CAPS takes walk-in appointments. If people need to be working with a therapist, we have in-person walk-in available. About 40% of our student population, grad and undergrad, use CAPS every year. Over 4 years, 65% of our students walk in and use an appointment. It is very much a sign of strength and resilience and support at Duke to access our mental health services and our resources. We have a couple of other things. I won't run you through a full list, but we have a thing called Duke Line, which is a student text to chat when people need some help and some support. And then we have this thing called Blue Devils Care, which is also a 24/7 virtual therapist. You can get an appointment right away, or you can text and chat to get some resources. We really believe that if you're in a moment where you need support and help, those supports need to be there for you in real time. It's all coordinated through CAPS and it comes back together through that resource. Everybody touches student health too. If you're an international student, you go through the immunization clinic and the sort of arrival clinic with student health. You'll be part of, we provide all kinds of services through student health. There's kind of a top, I won't take you through it, but there's typical things, services on site that college students need based on your lifestyle and what you're doing. That's all available through student health. And we do tons and tons of appointments there every year. I'll just expand and say, it's on this continuum for us. So I mentioned that Duke is connected to a major medical center. Duke Health runs this thing called Exercise is Medicine. And it's a conference every year that sort of brings researchers from around the world together. We incorporate movement, smart sleep, study habits, socialization. We track the GPAs of people in the library, so we can tell you that if you're at the library until 2 a.m., you're actually probably not going to do as well academically. Good night's sleep. You're going to hear the president tell you to get some sleep. It's what he says it every year at orientation. He means it. We're really trying to think about ways that wellness is connecting to people, knowing yourself, having great stress management techniques, having great skilled resources and researchers to help you, getting out there, moving, eating well. We have fabulous nutritionists in the training hall and in student health who can help. We think a lot about learning accommodations. We think a lot about all kinds of pieces that come together for wellness. We think about racial identity. We think about ways that belonging matters. I could go for a long time on this one. I won't since we're getting close to 8 o'clock, but I know that we're going to have specific highlights to wellness over the summer. And again, at I'm a Blue Devil Day in April.
So a question for both of you to kind of close out is, after being a part of this community for a number of years, what are the things that you like the most about Duke students?
Ooh. Mary Pat, do you want to go first or do you want to finish up?
You go first. I got to think.
Okay. All right. The thing that I've noticed, Duke students manage to pull off something that I think is rare. And that is that they manage to be ambitious and supportive at the same time. They have high aspirations. They have been successful. They expect to be successful. And at the same time, the way they support each other while they are here, the fact that regardless of the discipline, regardless of the course of study, they help each other out. It is not a competitive environment. It is not a zero-sum game. They help each other out while they're here. They help each other out after they graduate. I just had a conversation with a faculty who has been involved in a number of startups, and who was talking to me about one of his colleagues in the startup who went to another very good school that is not Duke, and how envious his collaborator was with the degree to which he was able to draw on his Duke connections for decades after graduation. So that sense of supporting each other, helping each other, rooting for each other, helping each other be successful. I just think it's very special. So I'll stop there.
Mary Pat?
Okay, so I've been at Duke, this is my 6th year. And when I came for my interview in April of 2019, I was walking on East Campus. I didn't even know where I was. I wasn't sure what it was. And I was walking by these 2 young first-year women who were sort of talking to each other, and they were saying, da-da-da-da, STAIN, like da-da-da-da, STAIN. And then they went out, they said, I'll see you at dinner. And like, da-da-da. And they were doing this full, wonderful, sort of ambitious day. They were finding common ground over and over and over again. I sit in an office where I watch students all day find each other, connect, bring a ton of energy, and then sort of bring it back, and then sort of find ways to support each other. So to echo Christoph, the ways that Duke students support each other is amazing. It's not perfect. It takes a little bit of time. You're going to meet somebody your first week that you're like, I never want to be friends with that person. They may end up being your friend. You may not like them, but you don't know at the very beginning who your people are going to be and how you're going to sort of stretch and support each other. In general, the best thing about Duke students is that incredible, let's go, collaborate, let's make this work. I also work with a career center, and I do all these output surveys or sort of feedback sessions with employers. Duke students do really well in the job market. They get the jobs they want. They have amazing pathways after they graduate. But the feedback I get is that Duke students, Duke grads, are amazing collaborators, right? They're humble. They don't mind doing their part of the work. They have fun when they're doing it, and they make the experience better for other people. It's exactly what happens when people are here too. So Duke students, like as a team, you cannot beat this community and the ways that people find space to really lift each other up. What are you doing? Same. I'll see you later. It's fantastic.
Well, that is a wonderful story to share. Thank you so much to you both, Christoph, Mary Pat. I thank you. The attendees, thank you. Students, families, the journey begins. The recording and the transcript of this panel are going to be made available on our YouTube channel in about a week, so just keep your eyes out for that. And with that, we bid you good night. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks all.